6-11 overall. The Bulldogs at 4-3 in the Western Buckeye League. The Apaches at 3-2 out of the Green Meadows Conference. The Apaches come in on a 2-game winning streak. Scoop, we'll talk about roster depletion, more specifically an injury to a key senior for the Bulldogs as our pregame continues. But right now, they're hoping a little home cooking will snap a 2-game losing skid.
Yeah, they want to try to get the ship righted here this afternoon. I think they have a good opportunity to do that. Fairview has been so good traditionally year in, year out, but this has been a rebuilding year for the Apaches. So right now, Defiance just trying to get some W's. You know, they're coming off a 2-win season from a year ago, already up to 6 wins this year. They'd love to get number 7 here this afternoon.
We're going to break it down as well as take a review of this week. But first things first, I had a chance to stop out at a Bulldog practice earlier this week and talk with head coach Leroy Lewis. Our player profile is going to be 5'8" junior center Alexandra Fernandez. Don't you go anywhere. We'll have Coach Lewis when we return. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues as DCTV Sports is back at the Dog Pound. This time, the ladies take center stage as Defiance welcomes Fairview. Brent Balbinot saying thank you for joining us. Our thanks also going out to our sponsor, Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance. Check out their great selection of new and used vehicles. Everybody's on a budget nowadays. They call them cream puffs. Broken in, not broken down. Or if the weather hasn't exactly been your cup of tea, and I don't think 22 below wind chill has been this week, you can always check them out online at drivebobestill.com. Coach Lewis joining me right now. We've joked about this before, but if they were going to go ahead and make you a pitch man for Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, what are you driving off the lot?
I think I would drive an Avalanche. It just seemed like it would fit us. Got a lot of space in the back, so I felt like that would work for us.
Okay, so put the equipment and the team in that big old extended cab, right?
Yes.
We may make that happen. How about that? You win the WBL, and maybe we can talk trucks.
Give us some time. Give us some time.
Good enough.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and focus on the here and now. Coming off a tough loss on Thursday. But we've talked about this before, too. You're at that part of the season now where you barely have 24 hours off, and then you're playing again. That's part of the beauty of basketball. It's not like other sports we have to sit on it. But walk us through what you do within 24 hours to get ready for, in this case, a non-conference opponent.
Just a lot of scout. Fairview, we played every year since I've been here, so kind of just know a little bit about them. We go through it with the girls, have a normal practice, a little bit more scout than normal. We probably go through their tendencies a little bit more towards the end of our practice here today. And just informing them, keeping them informed on what they're doing, kind of what we want to do against them, and kind of what we're looking to execute tomorrow.
You beat me to it because it's also about you. And coming off a performance where I know it was not Defiance basketball, just 27 points. Is it more about Defiance today than it is about Fairview?
Yeah, every day it's about us. I just like the girls kind of get a different feel of what they had before. We want to put out scouts. We put it out on paper. We have it in my room, in my classroom, up on the board, so they see it when they come visit me during the school days. We try to give them as much information as we can, but it's really about us. Like, what do we want to be? What do we inspire to do with this Defiance program? And that's kind of what I preach to the girls every day, and they responded great so far.
All right, so you lead me to the next question. What do you want to see from your team today?
Hard work. I feel like Thursday night we played hard, but not as hard as we could. I felt like I was talking to you earlier about the rebounding. We could have rebounded better. Just matching their athleticism a little bit better. I'm just looking for us to come out Saturday night and compete on a higher level.
I know it's tough. Anytime you have a player go down to injury, and especially a senior who has worked so hard as Samantha Hohenberger has. But at the same time, and we've made this point, giving you the opportunity too, she's still an integral part of this team. What was your conversation with her about what you want to see from her the rest of the way?
First, I just thanked her for helping me kind of change the culture here at Defiance. She's been really good captain for us. She's been positive the whole time, and that's kind of what we need around this culture with girls trying to gain skill, trying to gain confidence. She has been a senior that has basically took the young girls under her wing and kind of made them feel comfortable and made them feel like they was a part of the program. And that's kind of what we needed at Defiance.
Sam, we promise you're going to be a player profile in the upcoming month here. Still a lot of time left to go in the season.
Okay.
But our player profile coming up next year is Alexandra Fernandez.
Yeah.
Can you talk about this young lady's progression?
Alexandra is just the anchor of our team. I mean, she's on the inside, starts at the 5, anchors our defense. That's where she's more impactful for us. Just on the defensive end, she's a great communicator as far as who should be where, getting girls in the right spot, getting the defense set, kind of communicating to the team when I'm communicating to her. And on the offensive end, she likes to rebound, which I love. So she's going to get it with 2 hands. She uses her body pretty well. I'm just trying to get her to keep developing. I want her to kind of shoot from a little bit deeper than what she's shooting from. We kind of talked about that the other day. I just want her to extend her range a little bit, and we'll work on that this summer. She's willing to work, and I'm willing to help her.
How's her communication? Because when I chatted with her, and she does know that she's going to be the player profile,
Right.
she said you challenged her to come out of her shell, to be more vocal.
Yes.
How has she responded?
Yes, Alex is one of those players that sports comes natural for. Now, being in front of the mic is a little bit different, right? First time I'm asking her to do that. But I feel like if you can do it on the court, you can do it being in front of a mic. And I feel like she's just good communicating with the girls. Every girl on our team loves her. They love being around her. So we're just happy to have her. I mean, I feel like she'll be big for us next year.
You've already won 3 times as many games so far this year, with roughly a month still left to go in the season,
Right.
as you did last year.
Yeah.
You're above 500 in conference play.
Yeah.
How much better can this team still get?
We're still not satisfied. I mean, we're 6-11 now. Mm-hmm. We want it to be somewhere right around 500 for our overall record. So being 5 games under, it's tough for us, but the girls have stayed positive. I think they kind of see what we're trying to build here at Defiance. The culture is turning around. We got girls playing harder, girls putting in more extra work besides practice, and we didn't have that before. So I'm really proud of the girls so far.
Best of luck to you, not just today, but the rest of the way.
I appreciate it, Brent.
Coach Lewis joining us on the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with more right after this on DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. DCTV Sports back at the Dog Pound on a Saturday afternoon as the girls take center stage today, welcoming out-of-conference opponent Fairview. Brent Balbanon saying thank you for joining us. Time for our player profile. Alexandra Fernandez, she was supposed to join me about 3 weeks ago. She dogged me, but we had to corral her and get her on board. Now she says, Brent, can I do this every single game? Isn't that what you told me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And she's truthful right now, too. All right, you ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right, now the roster reads 5'8". You stand up straight with your shoulders back. Is the roster accurate?
I think so. I'm like 5'7". Maybe an inch off is fine.
Okay.
Inch off is
All
fine.
right. Well, she wears thick-soled high tops then.
Yeah.
It's 5'8" for sure. Fantastic. Junior, getting your feet wet at the varsity level this season. What has that transition been like for you?
It's definitely been faster, a lot more harder competition, and it was kind of hard to get used to the game.
When you say faster, you're talking about the speed
Yes,
of the game?
definitely the speed of the game.
Has it slowed down for you at least a little bit?
It depends.
Maybe. Depends on the opponent.
Yeah.
Look, what's it going to take to get comfortable? Because this group looks like it's got a pretty good chemistry. You are now in your second season with Coach Lewis. Has that made things at least a little bit easier?
Yeah, a little bit. I just...
You know what to expect now?
Yeah, I know what to expect, and it helps us with the underclassmen to teach them how to get used to Coach Leroy and all that. So,
What were some of the things you were working on in the off season to become a better player for this year?
definitely attacking the basket, being more confident. Last year I was kind of hard to get used to the game, but I think now this year it's a lot more easier.
Now, you like to bang down low. You're a physical player.
Yes.
You've got actually a couple of teammates, one in particular, in Izzy Ramirez, who likes to do the same. How much do you guys beat each other up in practice?
So we'll go up for the same ball without even realizing it. I don't know.
Does she make you a better player?
Yes, definitely. I like to have someone that pushes me, so it's nice to have her around.
If I asked her the same thing, it's nice to have her around. If I asked her the same thing about you, do you think she'd say she makes me a better player?
Definitely.
So mutual respect. Mm-hmm. And then when it's done, how physical has it gotten? Like any blood, bruises, any twisted ankles?
Lots of bruises, lots of bruises.
That almost makes the games easier though, doesn't it? When practice is that tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a lot easier because some of the girls are not as physical, so it's easier to get around them and shoot a layup.
Where would you say you've made your most improvements?
I would say my free throws. I mostly struggle on my free throws, but I think now this year it's starting to get a lot easier.
One area that Coach talked to us about in his segment of the pregame was your communication. Mm-hmm. Now, he said you have no problems talking, but he wanted you to talk more on the court.
Yeah.
You're the back line of the defense. Mm-hmm. You see everything. Was that a tough transition? Are you more comfortable with that now?
It was kind of a hard transition. I like to, when I'm like in the game, I'm locked in. I'm not talking. I see, but I think now this year it's easier to talk to everybody. I think it's because we all grown closer and we have a stronger bond this year than it was last year. So I think it's very easier to talk with everybody and no one taking it personally or anything.
Now, you are a multi-sport athlete. Mm-hmm. If you watched any of our fall broadcasts, you saw this young lady right here on the soccer field. Mm-hmm. How did soccer help you prepare for basketball season? Does it?
Yes, it does. Lots of running. I think it helps a lot. On our off season, always running. That's it.
Conditioning?
Yes.
Now, the term is student athlete. Mm-hmm. Got to crack a book to stay eligible. I'm looking down here, and you've got a 3-point GPA. What's your favorite class?
Definitely journalism. Love that class.
Now, how did you get interested in journalism?
A friend of mine actually told me to take it, and I joined that class last year, and I've just been taking it ever since.
So you write for the student paper, is that correct? Do you have a beat or special edition?
I do. I do the boys and girls basketball, and basically I just interview someone from our team and then one of the boys' team. I get a picture, and then I just write how their season's going and everything.
So how do you prepare for that? Do they know that you're coming, or do you surprise them?
I mean, we always, it comes out every Friday, so I think the boys know because some of their team already been like interviewed last year, so they already know it's coming.
So if I come back in 5-10 years, are you going to be writing for the paper or maybe some big news outlet?
Maybe.
All right, maybe she'll be doing some games with me. Possibly. Would you like to do that? We'll put her on the air instead of behind the scenes. We're not going to graduate you too soon. Right now, there's still about a month left to go in the season. You guys have won 3 times as many games as you did last year. You're above 500 at 4-3 in the conference. How much better can this team still get?
A lot better. I think we have a good group of girls. We don't really have problems around here, and I think we want to see each other be the best that we can be.
Goals, both individually and as a team. You guys talk about them?
Kind of. We kind of take it one game at a time. So, I mean, we do have goals, but it's one day at a time.
One day at a time. That's classic coach speak, is what that is as well. Right now, the most important game, beat Fairview.
Mm-hmm. Beat Fairview.
Good luck, you not just today, but the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Our player profile, she's been pretty well behaved, Alexandra Fernandez. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, your keys to the game and the starting lineups. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports. Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. We are live at the Dog Pound as we are roughly 5 minutes away from tip-off on a chilly Saturday afternoon as Defiance girls step out of conference play to welcome Fairview. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Now, normally we have our VIPs. We roll out a red carpet for them. We give them a nice throne. Her crown is still being polished at the Jewelers. Samantha Hohenberger is coming up to help us with the Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. We touched on it a little bit. Bring your mic up just a little bit there so everybody can hear you. Coach Lewis talked a little bit about it. You seem to be getting around okay right now.
I'm doing good. It happened last week, so I think I'm just recovering. I think hopefully I could play maybe next Thursday. Maybe.
All right. We'll pretend that she didn't say that, and it will be a surprise for everybody. I know in talking with you, though, when I came to practice, and Coach said the same thing, you're like an extra coach now on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You're still staying involved, aren't you?
Yeah, I like to help out. I think it's good to help, your teammates. I think it's good to, be encouraging. Yeah.
All right, you ready to break down the starting lineups with us?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and start first for the visitors, the Apaches of Fairview. And getting the starting nod, technically they are point guard by committee, Scoop, but Aubrey Hammer, even though she's one of the taller players on the roster, if they needed to run a press break, she is going to be it. But you're not going to see that 18, 19, 20-point score with this Apache squad. You're going to see balance. 3 or 4 players that are probably about 8 or 9 points each. They do it by committee.
Well, they're going to have to do it by committee. And you mentioned Aubrey Hammer. She's one of the top athletes in all Northwest Ohio, so really not a true point guard, but if we see a lot of pressure from Defiance tonight, look for Hammer to be the person that's going to be that calming factor that can handle the ball and break that full court press.
And for her stats, again, Aubrey Hammer is averaging right now. It looks like, again, it's not going to jump out at you and beat you over the top of the head with it. But again, her stats across the board are more than serviceable. She is averaging nearly 9 points per ball game. She's also pulling down nearly 3 steals per ball game, so she plays defense as well.
Oh, she really does. She can alter shots, and again, she's got good enough handles where she can hurt you in the open floor if you give her space, and she also has the ability to score inside and out.
Taking a look at the rest of those starters, again, Madison Sharp, Kayla Mavis, Sammy Mavis, who is their best on-ball defender. And when I talked to Coach Zedike, he said, we may run some zone if they get penetration, but he goes, we want to start man-to-man. I said, who draws Rollins? And he goes, Sammy Mavis is by far and away not only our best on-ball defender, but our best defender. So that'll be an interesting matchup. We're going to have best on best at that point. And then, of course, you see Chloe Panico. On the flip side, for the Defiance Bulldogs, one change because the lady standing in the middle and chatting us up right now will be on the bench, but Fuzz, Jamie Rollins, getting the starting nod at point guard. She just looks so much smoother, so much more confident. Sammy, I'm going to ask you this question. How different is she compared to last year when she was just a young buck, so to speak?
I think she has more of a role because last year I feel like she played more of JV just because she was new. So I think she's really stepped up and taken that role of being a really good point guard.
Now, she's got a little swag to her, but there's a difference between being cocky and confident. Mm-hmm. She strikes me as being more confident than cocky. Is that a way to put it?
Yeah, I think her confidence is really good, and it really helps the team build their confidence as well.
Youngster Nadia Leatherman is going to step in as a starter. Break her down for us. What can fans expect to see?
I think she's good if she has her confidence, and I really think she's working on that, and it's hard just coming in as a sophomore, but I think she'll do really good.
At the swing, going to be Bella Rollison. Rollison, one of the top 2 scorers, and Scoop, she is a threat. She's one of those, I don't want to call her streaky shooters, but you can tell when she's feeling good because there's no shot she doesn't like to take.
Well, if I'm coaching against Bella Rollison, the last thing I want to see is her first shot go in because she has that ability to really get that confidence going. She gets in the flow. She can be a tough guard, as we've seen many times this season.
She may only be 5'3", but she plays a lot bigger. Izzy Ramirez, we call her the alley cat. She'll take a swipe at you just as soon as say hey to you, but she is extremely physical. And then our player profile, Alexandra Fernandez, in the middle as well. Those two go after each other. You guys get pretty intense in practices, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Does that make the games easier?
Yeah, I think it does because depending on what teams we play, there's a lot of contact. I mean, it's a contact sport. So I think it's just, it's really good that we build on each other.
We're going to let you get back down to business
Okay.
because your teammates are lining up for the national anthem. Best of luck to you, and thanks for coming
Thank
up and
you.
joining us. Samantha Hohenberger coming up and joining us as part of our she needs her own sponsor, Scoop. What do you say? We go out and find a place that goes ahead and maybe feeds her or maybe feeds us on top of that.
No question.
And then we'll just make her a regular part of the pregame. As we're getting set for the colors being dropped here as the national anthem is getting set to be played, we'll get you the keys to the game in just a second. But right now, our national anthem is brought to you by the Defiance County Veterans Office, proud to support local veterans and their families. To learn more about what you might be eligible for, log on to defiance-county.com/veterans-office or call 419-782-6861. And the Star-Spangled Banner, again, thanks to our underwriter, the Defiance County Veterans Office. Let's go ahead and take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or call 419-267-1320 today. Let's go ahead and start with the hosts, the Defiance Bulldogs. Again, looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Scoop, what do they have to do to walk out of the gym a winner?
Well, there you see it in bold letters there. Don't be gun shy. You know, they've been emphasizing they have to have people step up with Hohenberger out of the lineup. So when you have the open shot, there cannot be any hesitation. You've got the green light. I think the second key tonight for the Bulldogs, meet and greet transition. They have to stop the ball early out of transition out near the half-court line. They're doing a good job of getting back to the paint, but a part of transition defense is stopping the basketball. So they got to slow it down quicker, force teams get into the half-court set.
On the flip side, for the Apaches, also 6-11, just like the Bulldogs, 3-2 in the GMC, their keys.
They're going to have to protect the basketball. They're going to have to do a great job of minimizing turnovers on the season. Fairview comes in very out of character, averaging just over 20 turnovers per ball game. They've got to cut that number down here today if they want to extend their 2-game winning streak here this afternoon. I think the second key for the Apaches, they're going to have to rebound. They're going to have to do a great job controlling the glass at both ends, maybe win that second chance points battle, because this is going to be a game that most likely will not be decided until the closing minutes.
Those are your keys to the game, brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to a great career opportunity starts with a great education at Northwest State. Time now to tip it off. Our officials this afternoon, we've got a good group. Travis Grunehagen, Charles Regaletti, I think it's Regelti if I'm not mistaken. Regaletti. All right, I've heard it pronounced 3 different ways. So Charles, maybe we'll just call you CR, and then Les Hockenberry. Fairview in their traveling black and gold uniforms. Defiance out in their home whites. And are they starting in a 1-3-1 here?
Yes, they are.
So trying to take away that 15 to 17-foot jump shot on the wings. And right now it looks like it is giving Fairview a little bit of trouble, although their passing has been sharp. And they break it down low. That was an excellent look. Kayla Mavis couldn't get it once, couldn't get it twice. You can't get any closer. And here come the Bulldogs at the other end, and this is the underclassmen. Look at this. Nadia Leatherman, the sophomore, just 5'6". And Defiance, I think, is coming out and trying to make a statement early here.
Well, I love the aggressive approach we've seen from Defiance. We saw it in that 1-3-1 where they had Eliza Ramirez running baseline to baseline. And here, Alexandra Fernandez with her second rebound, this time an offensive rebound. And she gets the hoop in the arm to give the Bulldogs an early three-point advantage.
She was our player profile earlier this afternoon. Talked about getting used to the second season under head coach Leroy Lewis's tutelage, as Fuzz Rollins almost came away with a steal. And right now Fairview trying to figure out the best way to attack, as Rollison almost came away with a steal. Aubrey Hammer throws this one away. 1-2, Rollison on the drive, nothing doing, but Rollins follows, give her the putback.
Credit that Bulldog defense. That time they forced a turnover and quickly turned into 2 points at the other end. A 5-0 start here in the opening 90 seconds of action.
Don't know that Defiance couldn't have scripted a better opening to this ball game. Fairview, though, staying aggressive, and a nice job by Sammy Mavis in the middle of the paint, handling contact to put him on the board.
Boy, great job by Mavis. There was a lot of contact on that, but she had the strength and the fortitude to get that up off the window and in.
Leatherman not gun shy, almost banked in a three-pointer, and look at that, Ramirez with the board, nothing doing. Second chance is a golden one. Izzy Ramirez, how about this? 3 trips down the court and 3 different Bulldogs in the scoring column.
Yeah, they've also got multiple offensive rebounds here in the opening 2 minutes.
Open look from 3, and that's a sweet-looking jumper by Aubrey Hammer as she drains a Premier Bank three-pointer.
Yeah, Hammer comes in, their leading scorer, so you cannot allow her to catch and shoot in rhythm. But again, we mentioned in the pregame, she's an outstanding athlete, and she can hurt you inside or out, that time with that Premier Bank 3.
Aubrey Hammer averaging 8.5 a game. Sammy Mavis just over 8 a game. Those are the 2 big guns for Fairview. As Ramirez works her way out of some congestion in the middle of the paint. Look at her kind of get in the way of Kayla Mavis, and Mavis shoves her aside. I think this is going to get physical today, Scoop.
Yeah, I think it already has. Both teams really doing a good job of trying to crash the boards at both ends.
Good board there by Chloe Panico, and a rare fast break opportunity. The ball was deflected by Leatherman, and it will go off of Madison Sharp, and that will be a turnover.
Yeah, Fairview is a team, but when they have the opportunity, they're going to look to push in transition. At that time, good transition defense by Defiance, and that forces Fairview into their second turnover here in the opening 3 minutes.
Fernandez will check out. First substitution of the afternoon is Angelico Sabalos. Youngster checking in, 5'10 junior. Quick 3 by Rollison on the right wing, nothing doing, but Ceballos with the board. Can't find it there, and look at that, all 5-3 of Izzy Ramirez pulling down her 3rd board of the game so far. Make that her 4th. Can't quite get the range on this one. They had 4 chances at it.
3 offensive rebounds and good looks each and every time, but they come up empty.
Boy, Rollins, quick hands, and look at that, almost Harlem Globetrotter styles from her knees, keeps her dribble.
Yeah, that was Curly Neal style that time, dribbling off her knees there and comes up with the steal. We'll see if Defiance can turn that into a couple points here at the offensive end.
I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to say Marcus Haynes would have been proud of that. As Ramirez, low blocks, got a good look. Picks up the rebound, getting a little frustrated. She's had 2 or 3 point-blank looks that have been in and out. As that ball deflected, here comes Fairview and Kayla Mavis as she is cut off and fouled. And I believe, was it Rollins that will pick up the foul? No, yes, it will be Rollins.
Yeah, that's not a bad foul. I like the transition defense again by Defiance, who now has gone 2-3 here on the baseline out of bounds play.
Inbounds right back to Hammer. That's great movement without the ball, but again, a point-blank shot missed by Mavis. Both teams getting good looks in the early going here, Scoop, but the iron has been unkind.
Well, that was a great find by Hammer there to spot Mavis on the rim run.
Ceballos launches an air ball from about 20 feet out, shakes her head at herself. And that was actually a heads-up play by Fairview to let that ball go out of bounds.
Now the physicality and the defense is starting to kind of turn the tide here. Both teams have gone a couple minutes here without scoring a point.
Hammer with a cross-court skip pass. Nice crossover by Sharp, but loses the ball. Quick hands, Rollison's there. And look at the alley cat. Diving, scratching, clawing on the floor. It's going to be a jump ball, and the arrow points to Fairview's way, but man, I'm telling you, I love watching number 23 play for Defiance. She knows only one gear, and she's going to catch a much-needed breather right now.
Yeah, Ramirez has that only gear, and she uses it full throttle each and every time. But her teammates are doing a great job today of really matching that intensity early. And this has been a fun Defiance team to watch here as they continue to make good strides here throughout this season.
Had a little bit of a scoring drought for both teams after the early going, and Rollins gets swatted on a nice drive. Here comes Fairview. Quick outlet. Mavis couldn't quite get a clean handle on it, but their passing has been very sharp, especially around the perimeter.
Yeah, right now they just need to find a way to get some touches in the middle, but credit Defiance, they're being very active in the zone.
Good look from three, just a bit short from Hammer. And Fernandez, who's checked back in with a good box out and board. Patience McDaniel snuck in on the court on me there, number 2 for Fairview. As they're going about as big as they possibly can with both Ceballos and Fernandez on the court at the same time. And Ceballos with the first bench points.
Great job by Ceballos that time, getting another offensive rebound here for the Bulldogs and converting into 2 points.
Nice baseline jumper, good look, but again, Mavis can't find the range. Little pinball kept, and one pass too many by Hammer. Stolen away by Leatherman. She's going 1-on-2. The sophomore all the way in and finishes with the left hand.
Well, that's not being gun shy right there.
No.
That's a great straight line drive to the rack, and what a finish off the window with that left hand.
Stretches the Defiance lead to 6. Middle of the paint, McDaniel almost banked one in, and the iron's just been unkind for the Apaches right now in the early going. Hammer has her dribble if she wants it. Instead, she'll reverse it near wing. Panico, has she taken a shot yet? As there's contact in the low blocks. Shaking of the head by Sammy Mavis, and she is fouled. Who's it going against? I believe it's going to be Fernandez. Nope, it's going to be Ceballos.
Well, you can see the length and physicality from this Defiance defense is really creating some havoc for Fairview at the offensive end. I mean, other than that three-pointer from Aubrey Hammer, there's just been no clean shots available for the Apaches.
Mavis rushed a shot. Offensive board, staying with it, and Sammy Mavis with her second basket of the afternoon.
Yeah, great hustle play by Sammy Mavis. One of the few offensive rebounds the Apaches have garnered here in this opening 7 minutes. That's a much-needed bucket. Gets it down to a 4-point game here as we're under the 1-minute mark for this opening quarter.
And it looks like Defiance wants to take the air out of the ball, possibly work for the final shot of the quarter. They're just going to hang and see if they can't pull Fairview out of that 2-3 zone. And right now, both teams catching a bit of a breather as Defiance not really running any offense. They have the court spread, and now it looks like they're going to kick it into gear. Long three by Rollins, and just out-muscling everybody. Fernandez! That's just brute strength right there.
Great play by Fernandez. She already has 4 rebounds here in this opening quarter, 2 at the offensive end, and that time she was able to get the much-needed hoop there to give the Bulldogs a 6-point advantage.
Hammer, nice crossover and a running left-handed floater on the baseline.
A sweet move by Hammer, and now Defiance will get one last crack as the clock's down to 4.
Rollins on the drive, tries to dish down low to Fernandez. She gets blocked by Panico. That shot, it falls, but it will not count. I saw the official wave his arms out. Are they going to have a discussion about it? I don't see points put up on the board, and we have come to the end of the first 8 minutes. Defiance 13, Fairview 9. We will take a Mark Motes Ford timeout located on County Road 424 in Defiance, serving the community since 1916. Check them out in person or online at markmotesford.com. Quick breather. Back with the second quarter. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Second buzzer sounds at the Dog Pound as we welcome you back. Second 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock as the host Defiance Bulldogs welcoming the visiting Fairview Apaches. Bulldogs leading 13-9. Both teams scored early. We had a few minutes of a drought. Then all of a sudden both teams caught their second wind. And we have ourselves a ball game. Each team coming into this afternoon's contest with an equal 6-11 record. And Hammer got a little loose with the pass at half court. Rollins deflects it. We've got a battle for the ball. And timeout being called by Defiance as they technically had possession. It's a 30-second timeout, so we will keep it here. Scoop, both teams a game above 500 in their respective conferences. As we talked about during the pregame, this is an out-of-conference matchup. But how about this? Just a reminder for where these two teams were a season ago. Defiance won just 2 games. Against 20 losses, they were 1-8 in the Western Buckeye League. Right now at 6-11 and 4-3 in conference play, they're already leaps and bounds above what they were a season ago.
Oh, no question about it. And we mentioned already, this is a fun team to watch because they're starting to understand the importance of being the aggressor, being physical, playing downhill, and they've got everybody right now playing with a boatload of confidence. And wow, they want this W early here, and this is huge to see. They came out playing with a lot of energy from the start of this one.
Well, it's the difference that a second-year coaching staff makes, too, as Defiance has the ball to, again, open up their first official offensive series. Chloe Seiler has checked in, and the youngster getting very aggressive, but stops and down low. Good look by Fernandez, but it will not fall. I want to get your take on that here at our next stoppage of play. Matter of fact, the young lady that came up and helped us with the Baker Schindler Company starting lineup, Samantha Hohenberger, was somebody who I talked to last year to this year. As the running one-hander short, look out. Nobody between Rollins and the basket. The only thing she didn't do was dunk it, but she lays it in for her second hoop of the afternoon.
Great job by Rollins. When you can rebound, it allows transition opportunities. And that time, Rollins, after snaring the rebound, just a straight line drive to the rack.
That ball goes through the fingertips of Mavis, and here comes Rollins again. Second breakaway layup, and just like that, she's got half a dozen points, and Fairview wants a timeout as things are starting to get a little out of hand. 17-9, and it is a 30-second timeout, so again, we will keep it here. But to kind of piggyback on what we were talking about, Samantha Hohenberger admitted last year in head coach Leroy Lewis and his coaching staff's first season taking over, they didn't know what to expect, and she was honest. She goes, we didn't like it. She goes, he was extremely tough. He was extremely demanding. There was no such thing as a small mistake, and he didn't allow anything than 100% effort. Even if you made a mistake, he wanted you to go full out. And they admitted, 2-20 last year, 1 win in conference play. That's tough. This year, they're starting to see the fruits of their labor, and it's amazing because Sammy said, I think we're all the same. We like him now. But it was tough last year.
Yeah, sometimes that tough love is what you need, even though you don't recognize it at the time. So, credit Coach Lewis and credit the girls. They've really done a nice job here in season number 2. And to get already 4 WBL wins, I think speaks volumes for this program.
They're thinking bigger than just 4 wins. If you look up, and I don't know if one of our camera guys throughout the course of the game here can get a zoom shot on the banner. They have the championship banners that line the far side of the Dog Pound here. There is only 1 conference championship listed for girls basketball. As a long 3, and that is Hammer, I believe, that drained it again. And if it weren't for her, they would have very little offenses. We got a whistle, and what's the call here? A foul in the open court.
Yeah, how about Hammer? That second Premier Bank 3 of the night for the junior. And again, that time she didn't have a lot of separation, but she got that quick release. She also has that deep range. And boy, that's a huge bucket to make this a 2-possession game.
Hammer has all but 4 of her team's 12 points as the foul in the open court there will go against Bella Rollison, her first. And how about that, answering at the other end.
A premier bank by Jamie Rollins. I love how she was able to kind of check her defender off. And here's Rollison with a steal and a run-out opportunity for Defiance.
She had to cross over, just a quick swipe, and she's going to launch a 3 as it's in and out. And another board for Izzy Ramirez. She's going to have a double digits before the end of the day. I'll go out on a pretty sturdy limb right now.
Well, I think Defiance now has 9 offensive rebounds here, and we've just played a little bit over 10 minutes, so they're doing a great job of extending possessions by crashing the glass at the offensive end.
Well, Ramirez is averaging around 8 boards a game despite being just 5'3". What a pass, and the ball just hanging on the front rim. Another board for Ramirez, although it will go down as a jump ball. She's averaging, I think it was 8, and I called her over when I was talking with Coach Lewis, and we said, you know how many you're averaging? She guessed 7 or 8. I said, what do you think you got in you? Can you get 10 a game? She goes, if you want me to get 10 a game, I'll get 10 a game. We were going to make a deal. I'm glad I didn't make it prior to this one because whatever we would have bet, I'm sure I would have been paying up. But she's just been everywhere on the court right now. Speaking of boards, how about Fernandez saying, remember me, I'm the other front court player. Garbage put back and give her 7.
And right now, Defiance's points have come from their defense and second chance opportunities, but it's been more than enough to open up a 10-point lead. Here's Ralston with a backside rebound.
Well, McDaniel was open, but it wouldn't fall, and now it looks like the Bulldogs maybe want to slow the tempo down just a little bit. Look, it's one thing to run. It's another thing to also be disciplined and run your offense once you cross the timeline. Rollison, nice crossover, steps in, but it goes begging off the right side. And it is one and done.
A great job by Sammy Mavis to check out. Here's going to be a steal one more time from Rollins.
Look who's running. 1 on 3. Eyes in the back of her head. And what a fast break. Finishing the fun. Nadia Leatherman, but what a pass. Eyes in the back of her head for Jamie Rollins on the dish.
Tremendous find by Rollins. And how about Leatherman running the floor there with the finish from the left side. And now Defiance has the Apaches doubled up 24-12.
And again, still playing hard defense as Rollison knocks this ball out of bounds. One thing I'm noticing here roughly halfway through the second quarter, Scoop, the passing, especially around the perimeter for Fairview, isn't quite as sharp as it was to open up the ball game.
Yeah, right now they're kind of playing in Defiance hands. Too much east and west here. They're not attacking the rim. A lot of soft passes. I think you have to ball fake this zone, shift it a little bit, and then look to reverse the other way, looking to get the ball inside.
Leviah Hall is checked in for Fairview as 2 dribbles, and Sharp picks up. A great find by Hammer going into the top of the key. Mavis, and I think she thought big number 33 was going to be on her hip, and when she pivoted and there was nobody there, Scoop, she kind of got caught between do I want to drive or do I want to pass, and she ended up traveling.
Yeah, she ended up picking up that pivot foot, and that's going to be the 8th Fairview turnover here this opening half, so credit Defiance. A lot of times you see a zone, people are standing around. That's not the case with this Defiance zone defense. They've been very, very active, forcing a lot of these Fairview Apache turnovers.
Well, Hull, some strong defense on Rollins, but still they break down as Rollins misses the point-blank shot. Loose ball, who wants it? Look at Rollins diving on the floor. She is tied up with Sharp, but the arrow points to Defiance. Coach, I'm sitting here thinking of, it was Brad Stevens a few years ago, and again, the great Butler coach who eventually went on to become the Boston Celtics coach, but he made a point once during an interview. He said it makes a difference when your best player is also your hardest working player. And
no question about it. You know, it's one thing to lead with your stats. It's another thing to lead by the example. And right now, Defiance making all those hustle plays, which exactly wins you ball games. Here's Fernandez with another rebound.
Look at that. Now, again, showing no fear, going down to tie her up. Jump ball the call, so the possession will stay with Fairview. But Kayla Mavis risked life and limb to get in there with her, and that's just showing a little bit of grit themselves.
Yeah, that's what Fairview's going to have to do, because right now I think the physicality Defiance has kind of pushed the Apaches around, but I think they've had enough. They're starting to fight back, and here's a steal by Hammer and a finish with the left hand. She now is in double digits with 10 points.
She's got 10 of her team's 14. It pulls them back to within 10, but look at this, on the break, and that's just how you do it. Over the top, great passing, and Rollison, the beneficiary. Now all 5 starters for Defiance in the scoring column.
Well, this is a fun team to watch when they're playing the role of the aggressor, and we've seen it the entire game at both the defensive and offensive end, and that time a great transition break highlighted by that finish from Bella Rollison.
Nice dribble penetration, running one-hander, iron unkind for Sharp, and who's the foul on underneath? This one's going to go against Sammy Mavis, her first. Scoop, if you are Coach Russell Zedike for Fairview, I don't think you can argue with the shot selection right now, but everything seems to be just a little off, whether it's a second rushed more than they're used to or just unsure. You have to be confident when you go up, don't you?
Oh, no doubt about it. And shooting percentages are going to dictate who wins games more times than not, but you have to understand shooting percentages are completely dictated by the intensity of the defense. And I think Defiance's defense, there's a reason why Fairview is not really hitting shots. They're shooting a little quicker than they want to. They're feeling that contact. They know the pressure's coming. That always looms deep in your mind. And right now they've had a tough time here. Just 14 points by the Apaches here as we hit the 2-minute mark of the opening half.
Down by a dozen, trying to pull to within 10 or single digits with a three-pointer. Look at this, heat check, and Hammer can't find any iron. That's a frustration shot. Rollison crosses over. Does anybody want to pick her up? 1 foot inside the arc, they do. As on the court, Layla Keller. Again, deep bench being used by Coach Lewis right now as the juniors in, and we have a foul or just out of bounds.
They have a tie-up that time. Okay. The error will belong to Defiance. But again, it doesn't matter who has for Defiance. They're attacking the rim. Yes. They're trying to get touches inside. They're trying to dribble penetrate. They're trying to post up. And Coach Lewis has done a great job, I think, trying to keep fresh troops in here in the first half. The result of that's been a lot of intensity here from Defiance at both ends.
Mavis out, Panico in for Fairview. Sabalos will take a seat on the Defiance bench. Leatherman stops and pops from 17 feet out. Weak side board, nicely done by Keller. And another opportunity for the Bulldogs. Just under 90 seconds left to go in the half. And that ball's knocked out of bounds, and they're going to say off of Leatherman. So again, showing a little bit of grit, obviously a little bit of pride, but that's a nice job by Samantha Kuhlman for Fairview. Good defense.
That was, but unfortunately for Fairview, Defiance has not really turned the ball over here the entire night, so they're going to have to really get back in this with some solid defense. There's a start. They forced a turnover. And now the offense trying to figure out a way to attack this 2-3 zone defense has been awfully effective here in the second quarter.
Oh, it's a short blow for Hammer. She's immediately back onto the court. Little congestion in the near corner. And we'll see how patient Fairview wants to be. That's a good bounce pass. Second, up top. Hammer immediately had a hand in her face, though, by Rollins.
Yeah, great job by Rollins because Hammer was open, but she recognized right away, I've got to take away her three-point shooting ability.
Nice drive by Hall, but got her own board. Fairview into the paint again. Mavis fades away. Can't get the friendly roll. Good hustle. Wow. And heading to the deck, Anna Hasselbring gave Levy Hall a little bit of a love tap, and it will be Defiance basketball with 37 and 7/10 seconds left.
Yeah, good hustle play by Hall, but all she could do was get there in time to knock it out of bounds. We'll see how Defiance wants to treat the last 30 seconds here with the basketball.
Quick hands by Kuhlman, not once but twice, and now we're going to have a timeout. 30-second variety, so we will keep it here. We're about 27 seconds away from our Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. We'll break down our stats, take a look at both team schedules, as well as our broadcast schedule, which will be heavy at the end of next week. Those teams across the river are going to get set to do battle with each other. On Thursday, It will be Ayersville's girls at Tenora. And then on Friday, it will be Tenora's boys at Ayersville. And throw out the records, no matter what the sport, when those two schools suit up against each other.
So that's a great rivalry to watch. They just battle, and as you mentioned, it doesn't matter what it is. They could be playing checkers for all I know, and they're going to get after each other.
Rollison will inbound. Rollins being face guarded, and it pays off as it's a steal by Kuhlman. She goes 1-on-2. She gets fouled from behind, and I believe it's going to be Fernandez.
Well, that time, unfortunately for Defiance, they turned it over, but probably a good hustle play to commit the foul before the shot. They still have a couple to give here in the final 24 seconds.
The inbounds, boy, dangerous bounce pass out beyond the arc. They get away with it. But the top half of this 2-3 zone has been very sticky for Defiance. Ball reversal, Hammer thought about it. Ramirez comes out with a hand in her face. Nice crossover by Hull. Baseline jumper skims off the iron. Hammer with the board, reaches up. That was a tough shot. And Panico will hit the deck as she tried to tie up Fernandez, but I believe that's going to be a foul.
Going to be a
just jump ball.
And this is the arrow you don't want with just 0.5 to go. So Fairview now will get the basketball to start the second half.
Long outlet, Rollins with it being deflected, and that will be the final play of the first half. So a little bit of a scoring drought for both teams in the final 2 minutes, but Defiance with a commanding 12-point advantage, 26-14 as both clubs head to their respective locker rooms. We'll take a quick Mark Moats Ford timeout. When we come back, it'll be the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Don't go anywhere. Defiance 26, Fairview 14. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Get a good look from our DCTV spot perched high above the dog pound in the, what would this be, the southeast corner, if I get my directions correct. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as we welcome you back to the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union celebrating 70 years of helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon. And as always, you can check them out online at midwestcommunity.org. I'd say tempo, but not at the expense of rhythm for both these teams, and especially for Defiance as they put up 26 points and lead by a dozen over visiting Fairview, 26-14. Let's take a look at your unofficial scoring totals, but I believe we're on board here. Leading all players, Aubrey Hammer, let's just call her a lead guard. She does a little bit of everything. She's also not afraid to crash the glass either. She has got 10 points, 5 points in the first quarter, 5 points in the second quarter, including a couple of threes. The problem is there hasn't been much offense besides her. Sammy Mavis, the only other Apache in the scoring totals. She's got 4 points, both of those coming early in the first quarter, and that's it. Of their 14 points, just those two putting up any offense. On the flip side, balance. All 5 starters in the scoring column for the Bulldogs, and some bench points as well. Leading the way, Jamie Rollins, 9 points. As a matter of fact, she got, 7 of those in the space of about 30 seconds to start the second quarter with some tremendous on-ball defense that she turned into offense at the other end. Again, 1 point shy of double digits. 7 points for center Alexandra Fernandez. Our player profile has been very aggressive on the glass, and again, she's also got a free throw to her credit. She opened up the scoring for both teams with a 3-point play. 4 points for Nadia Leatherman, the young sophomore who has been thrust into the starting rotation after the season-ending injury to senior Samantha Hohenberger. A deuce apiece for Bella Rollison and Izzy Ramirez, and 2 off the bench for Angelica Sabalos. Scoop, what stands out to you in the first 16 minutes of play?
Well, the aggressive play and rebounding from Defiance, it really has taken shape here. I have unofficially Defiance for 12 offensive rebounds and Fairview for just 3. So that's the biggest thing I think. It really pops out in my mind. But again, this is a Fairview team that it's used to winning ball games. You know, they come in, they've won the last 6 games against Defiance in the series. The last win for Defiance, you got to go all the way back to the 2018 season, a 55-34 win for the Bulldogs at the reservation. But Defiance certainly has sights of ending that streak here this afternoon.
I'm looking down. We don't have board work. You've got turnovers. What do you have for both teams through the first 2 quarters?
Well, Defiance did a great job of taking care of the basketball. They had just 3 turnovers the first half, and this is something that has hurt Defiance all season long, and 2 of those 3 turnovers were late. Meanwhile, Fairview had 5 turnovers the first quarter. They added 3 more in that second quarter, so those 8 turnovers, unfortunately for the Apaches, a lot of them were live ball turnovers that Defiance converted into points at the other end. So that's really been one of the key differences here, the reason we have a 12-point separation here at the break.
Look, you can't coach height and you can't coach size. Now, you can get your players into the weight room, but obviously a senior that's had 4 years in the weight room versus, say, an underclassman or a sophomore who's only about a half of that amount of time simply just isn't going to be as cut, maybe not as physically as imposing. So, knowing that you're getting crushed on the boards right now, what can you do if you're Russell Zedike and Fairview to at least try to negate some of that difference?
Well, it's going to start with positioning. You know, you have to have better position, you know, and then you can't settle for that position because you're not going to out-athlete Defiance, who has plenty of length here on Fairview. So you're going to have to really get physical, get into them. I would rather see, you know, the Apaches create more fouls from trying to box out, trying to gather position, and then by giving up so many offensive rebounds. We mentioned 12 offensive rebounds have led to, unofficially, I've got Defiance for 8 offensive points, you know, off a rebound. So I think they have to have a little bit more fight in them. As the old saying goes, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight and the dog. And that's what the Apaches are going to have to do. It's not going to be an easy task because we've seen plenty of fight from this Defiance team from the opening tip on here this afternoon.
And if you're Defiance and head coach Leroy Lewis, you don't change your game plan one bit, do you? You continue with that suffocating defense. Who says a zone can't be aggressive? The top half of that zone is coming out and not just basically congesting passing lanes. They're getting on the ball. They're getting strips and turnovers.
Well, that's what's been so impressive because they're also communicating so well. They know exactly where Aubrey Hammer is, so they're trying to cheat her way a little bit more, trying to get those high hands up You know, it's one thing sitting out there. I used to call it the twilight zone. You go out there and you stand around the zone. You don't rebound out of it. You get caught sleeping, flat-footed. This is anything but. This is a very aggressive zone defense. You talked about the on-ball pressure, but they're also doing a great job of finishing off possessions by hitting the glass. And once they get those rebounds, they've been off to the races. You know, they really have come out here to play, and I think the mindset right now is what Coach Lewis wants to keep going. It's been, we're the attacker. We're the attacker. We want to be the aggressor, and it's really paid off in a big way for the Bulldogs this afternoon.
26-14, Defiance with the lead. We're going to take the last break of our Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show, celebrating 70 years of helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, and online at MidwestCommunity.com. We're back with the third quarter right after this on DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Final 20 seconds ticking off the scoreboard clock as both teams have put the balls back in their cages, and we get set to resume third quarter action here at the Dog Pound. Defiance 26, Fairview 14, looking at the Bulldog 5 that will take the court. Same 5 that started the game: Rollins, Leatherman, Rollison, Ramirez, and Fernandez. And for the Apaches, I don't see any changes. Mavis, Sharp, Hammer, Panico, and Mavis. And as we pick up right where we left off, number 23, Aubrey Hammer, drawing all kinds of defensive attention from the Bulldogs. Wraparound pass. Look at me looking a bit more patient right now. And is it me or my lion eyes deceiving me? Top half of this 2-3 zone right now, Scoop, maybe isn't coming out as far as they did in the first half, at least to start.
Well, right now they're just trying to stay in front of the Apaches, force them to shoot everything over the top, and that time they force a tough shot and another rebound for Ramirez.
She's got to be pushing 10 if she doesn't already have them. Rollison, boy, look at Fernandez trying to post up, and that's just great anticipation by Panico to deflect the basketball.
Yeah, I look for Panico to really step up here in the second half, especially at the offensive end here, trying to ignite this Apache offense that struggled.
Good movement without the ball, and Kayla Mavis finally gets one to fall. Her first basket, first points of any kind this afternoon.
Great job by Mavis, moving without the basketball, cutting into the lane. Here's
Leatherman!
Quick answer. She has so much confidence. We saw that from the moment she got her hands on the ball here this afternoon. And again, we talked about not being gun shy as one of the keys. And she is executing a game plan to a T as well.
Lead back up to a dozen from the free throw line. Mavis got another good look, but it's one and done. And guess who's got the board?
Yeah, that definitely puts her in double digits for rebounding. She's just been a force, and a lot of that's just sheer hustle.
Fernandez splits a double team, goes up with the left hand, give her 9 on the afternoon.
And once again, they're playing downhill. They're attacking the rack. They're winning the paint.
Fairview in danger of getting run out of the arena as Hammer tries a 3. It's off the far side of the iron, and Fernandez taking no prisoners, and they're going to say she walked.
Yeah, she did. That was an easy call that time. Another great rebound. That's the 7th rebound for Fernandez tonight, but she took that extra step with the pivot.
Nice bounce pass into the paint. One dribble too many by Sammy Mavis. She hits the deck, jump ball the call, and Defiance will take possession.
That's a great way to respond after a turnover by the Bulldogs. They come right back. The defense forces a turnover on their own. Now Fairview extends their defense quickly. There's going to be a foul called. I think that's going to go against Madison Sharp, the senior.
Into the front court. Rollins just took it and turned and started to sprint, and very few people are going to be able to keep up with her on a dead run. She'll take the inbounds here. Coming up to draw her is Kayla Mavis. Now, Mavis is their best on-ball defender. Coach Zedek told me their best defender, period. But she could also probably use a little help as Rollison a little short with that three. And here's Leatherman, nose for the basketball.
Another offensive rebound for Defiance. See if they can convert to points one more time.
Rollison on the drive, baseline, takes a love tap from Hammer. It'll be Aubrey's first, but will also be 2 free throws for Bella Rollison.
Great recognition from Bella Rollison that time. She's able to catch that ball on the baseline, and that quick first step gave her position. Made that an easy call for the officials. The first to 2 a little bit short there.
What if I told you that's just the second free throw attempt for Defiance in this ballgame?
That's crazy when you think about how downhill they played
Yes.
today, but we kind of mentioned at halftime that's the one thing Fairview has to maybe do a little bit more of is starting to fight back, being more physical. Yeah, you're going to foul more, but you're also going to eliminate a lot of points in the paint where Defiance really made some hay in that opening half.
The lead is 15. Kayla Mavis driving baseline. The ball is kicked. Fairview maintains possession. You can hear Coach Lewis shouting out instructions to his team as the Alley Cat comes out to challenge the ball around the perimeter. Izzy Ramirez is intense. An attempted bounce pass. Look at this. Fernandez with the steal. The outlet to Rollins. Cross court to Leatherman. Did she get away with an extra step? Maybe. Crashing the glass. And Ramirez can't get the bunny to fall. And she showed some frustration as we've got a foul. And this will go against Leatherman.
And once again, a couple good looks from Defiance. Another offensive rebound. They had 2 good looks there down low. They just couldn't finish. And then the frustration foul there at the end, but Coach Lewis is certainly going to live with that. The fact they're really hustling, putting a lot of stress on this Fairview defense.
31-16. Fairview has been the recipient of a couple of stops. The problem is they haven't been able to cut into the deficit. Still remains 31-16 as that ball deflected out of bounds.
Defiance, we've mentioned how active they are in the zone. They're doing such a great job of matching up and getting plenty of ball pressure. And here's ball pressure.
Another turnover.
Rollison.
Rollison to Rollins. Finishes with the left hand. She's got double digits now, 11 on the afternoon.
That's the 3rd Fairview turnover this 3rd quarter, and 2 more points from that Defiance defense.
Mavis spins. They go to the corner. Hammer was wide open, but she elects to drive. There is where I think, again, I don't want to say if they're going to get back into it because there's no such thing as a 17-point basket. But, Scoop, I think that's what they're going to need to do more of. Be aggressive, and if you can, start to get those bigs for Defiance maybe in a little bit of foul trouble. You get a chance to cut into this deficit now with the clock stopped.
Well, I totally agree, especially the fact that Defiance is coming out so aggressive on the perimeter. We saw that the entire first half with their zone defense, so that will give you some driving lanes. But again, you have to have the courage, certainly Aubrey Hammer does, because you know there's going to be contact inside with this physical Defiance team.
Hammer's an excellent free throw shooter at 78%. She hits 1 of 2, but they end up turning that into a 3-point play as the shot nailed by Sammy Mavis. Give her 6 on the afternoon. It's a 14-point Defiance lead, now under 4 minutes left to go here 3rd quarter. Fernandez. Nice slide from the high to the low post, and they just don't have an answer for her, especially when she gets a foot in the paint.
And credit Jamie Rollins once again. She sees the floor so well. I think she's just starting to realize, she does have that swag you talked about, but I'm not sure she really understands what she can do out there on the floor. And I think she is really, as this season's progressed, she's starting to understand more and more the impact she can have, not just on her teammates, but on the game as well.
We heard Samantha Hohenberger talk about her. Difference between confident and cocky. She is confident. And Sammy, being one of her teammates, gets a first-hand look at it every day in practice. As the second, a little low. Well, Leatherman still mixing it up on the attempt on the board. And again, a bounce pass where I'm not sure one was needed, and it ends up being another Fairview turnover.
Yeah, that was the one thing we talked about being a key stat for Fairview coming in, as the Apaches are averaging just over 20 turnovers per contest. And right now, unfortunately for Fairview, they're on pace to match that here this afternoon.
Rollins taking on 3 black jerseys. Down low, Ramirez picks up her second basket of the afternoon.
Great job by Ramirez after a nifty pass inside, but her footwork was excellent. She didn't force it, took it up strong off the window.
Quick shot, kind of trickles around a little bit. Pulled up, ooh! Sammy Mavis hits the deck hard. And was that Ramirez that was challenging for the ball as well?
And how about Ramirez on that? I mean, that's the ball that Fairview's going to come down with, but she's going to make them earn it. She came right out after it. And again, those are the hustle plays I think are going to win you ball games.
Nice drop step in the middle of the paint. Rare paint points as Sammy Mavis with her second basket of the quarter. She's got 8, and it allows them to come out and press. Defiance goes over the top of it. Dangerous pass. Sabalos in the middle of the paint. Lots of contact, no call. We play on. Fairview trying to ratchet up their physicality here in the second half. Down by 14. On the drive, running one-hander. Again, attacking off the dribble. And if they're going to call that on the floor, they're going to call that a shooting foul.
I think that's going to be a shooting foul. Credit Levy Hall that time again. She saw that she had a chance to dribble drive there off that aggressive perimeter defense by the Bulldogs. She took advantage. Comes up empty on the first of 2.
Well, the charity stripe hasn't exactly been charitable for Levy Hall, just 28% on the season, but she will get another one here. Second is on the way. She makes good on 1 of 2. And again, a chance for Fairview to come out and press. Down by 13. And a little late, but good hustle by Hall, but that ball was already out of bounds.
Yeah, Fairview certainly has picked up the intensity here in this third quarter. Big reason why they have probably 4 fouls at this point. But that's what they have to continue to do. They want to find a way to lengthen the game. Here's a good hustle play by Hall that gets a deflection out of bounds. It will remain Defiance basketball.
Well, it's been a bit of a spark plug here for the Apaches in the third quarter.
Yeah, the sophomore's been very aggressive there. She's got plenty of on-ball pressure. Has her hands full with Jamie Rollins.
Driving the dish, Ramirez stops and banks in a 7-footer. And look at her. Who's the first one back defensively as well?
Well, that's not a Premier Bank 3, but that is a Premier Bank. Great job of using the glass. I think that's awfully important, a lost art these days.
And I believe Ramirez is going to be the guilty party on this one, and she knows it, forcing a smile as she came out on a very low shot by Levy Hall. And Hall right back to the charity stripe for 2 more. First one doesn't have a lot of rotation on her shot. Almost looks like an old Phil Necro knuckleball.
Now, this is an area the Apaches need to improve on. They're just a 59% free throw shooting team on the season. And probably more important than that, they get to the foul line just under 12 times per contest, where opponents are shooting over 15 per contest against the Apaches. So they have to realize that to win games, you have to win the paint. To win the paint, you've got to attack the glass.
So this will officially be the second opportunity for Hall. And she makes good on her second. So 37-23. Apaches just can't quite get over that hump, though. It's been about a 12 to 14-point second-half lead for the bulk of this third quarter. Trying to ratchet up their on-ball defense. That's sticky by Mavis. Rollins being dogged by Kuhlman. Oh, great look down low. That's great movement without the ball, too, though, by Bella Rollison.
That great offense that time. And it's all predicated by Jamie Rollins squaring up, triple threat, spotting Rollison down low.
Nothing doing on the shot. Bodies falling into the middle of the paint. And what's our call? Jump ball. Arrow stays with Fairview. Heading to the bench, Lorelei Salyers. Hammer for Fairview had 10 points at the half. Just 1 point so far here in the third quarter. Defiance has put the clamps on Fairview's leading scorer. Nice back and forth passing, but again, the bunny missed. Oh, wow, what a great look across the lane. And just as I was saying, Hammer's been shut out from the floor. There's her first basket from the floor, and she almost gets the steal here on Rollins. She forces the turnover.
Again, the Apaches are really scrapping here. We've seen a noticeable difference here throughout this third quarter. And after that tremendous find to Hammer on their offense possession, they force a Defiance turnover.
Hammer on the drive. She doesn't care, and she draws the contact. Ceballos will pick up her second.
See, and this is what we saw Defiance do in the first half, really attacking the glass going downhill, but now the Apaches trying to give the Bulldogs a taste of their own medicine. And Hammer, a 77% free throw shooter, back at the stripe. First one up and in.
Cuts it to 13, this to make it a dozen. If you want to call it a mini run for Fairview here in the last couple minutes. And if she hits, you got to figure the press is coming. And it is. Keller tries to break it. Leatherman. Now it's 2-on-1, and that's just too easy. Ceballos finishes with the right-handed layup.
Incredible pass that time by Leatherman to spot Ceballos there on that nifty lob pass.
Leatherman playing defense at the other end with the strip. Call is jump ball, and this time Defiance owns possession. Under a minute left to go here, third quarter. Fairview back out in their full court pressure. Rollins, oh, what a juke, just blew right around Kuhlman. Unfortunately, the official does not have any eligibility left, and that's going to be a turnover on the Bulldogs.
I thought Charlie Rogoletti had a little bit more athleticism than that to get out of the way of that basketball, but apparently not.
Charlie, that went from Scoop, not me. Scoop's opinions do not necessarily reflect those of the rest of us here at DCTV. Nice drive, and again, more contact and a foul called. Fairview, I think, has figured out their blueprint for the second half, Scoop. The only question is it going to be too little too late?
Yeah, I love how they're already trying to extend the game here in the third quarter. You know, they're getting more possessions. They're stopping the clock. They're being the aggressor, getting to the foul line. And there's a big free throw right there as the Apaches try to chip away at this deficit.
Kuhlman? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Again, you want to cash in right here so you can set up that full court pressure. You know, their aggressiveness has really done a great job of trying to keep them right here, but right now they're just kind of treading water. They're just really one run away from getting back in the thick of things here in this second half.
Kuhlman, a 67% free throw shooter, is 100% here. And again, out in their press with 32 seconds left to go in the quarter. And Rollins, I think, could take over if she chose to. Right now, she's just kind of being smooth. She's not trying to force anything. But with that foul, she'll head to the other end of the gym to shoot free throws.
Yeah, I thought that was a smart play by Rollins. She understands that they're in the penalty, so just be strong with the basketball. Fairview is trying to make things happen, so value the basketball. She comes up empty on the first of two.
Trying to hit her second, spins the ball in her hand. Another dribble, deep knee bend. In and out again. So with 28 seconds, Hammer wants to press the issue. Is she going to take it all the way in? A little out of control, and I don't know if that was a loose ball or just a bad pass. Either way, it's a turnover. And it's also going to be a foul, and right back to the other end of the gym for more free throws for the Bulldogs.
No, that's a tough break for Fairview. I like the fact that Hammer was trying to be the aggressor there. Great job by Defiance to run a second defender at her, forced to give her up, but then they lost patience there. They still had plenty of time. And now two freebies coming up for Defiance.
Keller's first is on the way, and I don't think that caught any iron, just kind of off to the right side. More importantly for Fairview, Sammy Mavis has now picked up her fourth, and she will immediately head to the bench as Panico checks in. Now the question is, how long can Coach Russell Zedike elect to keep her on the bench with his club down by a dozen? It's still a dozen.
Boy, 4 consecutive missed free throws by Defiance, and Fairview can get it down to 10.
And that shot around the world, it kicks out. I think Fernandez maybe got in the head of Hull a little bit there, but look at this, another steal, and they'll go right back to the charity stripe. Hammer has making a living there from the third quarter. As she's 3 for 4, she's got 2 more coming.
And credit Fairview. You know, they didn't reinvent the wheel at halftime, but what they've done here is they've just become ultra aggressive here. And the result has been they've had several trips to the foul line here in this third quarter, and Hammer makes good on the first at 2. And don't look now, the lead down to 11. Hammer a chance to make this a 10-point game here.
And Scoop, that was also Fernandez's 3rd foul, so she will take a seat on the bench. So what we were talking about, wear him out, foul him out, it's been taking a while as Hammer nails her 2nd, but look at this, the lead's only 10 now. Keller across half court. Will she get a shot off just before the buzzer? The banks are open on a Saturday afternoon in Defiance. Specifically, a premier bank three-pointer as Keller with a dagger to end quarter number 3. And just like that, the lead is back up to a baker's dozen. We'll take a quick Mark Moats Ford timeout. Quarter number 4. When we come back to the Dog Pound, you're watching DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Fourth and final quarter. Last 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. Back at the Dog Pound. Defiance 44, Fairview 31 on the heels of a buzzer-beating three-pointer from just across half court by Leah Keller. And just when Fairview had cut the deficit to 10, all of a sudden that was a dagger.
Boy, it really was. Fairview had worked so hard to trim that deficit to 10, and it quickly went away after that monster bank shot from deep that just beat the third quarter horn.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Apaches. Coach, again, just a situation here is an 18-footer from the left wing, and Panico's in the books for the first time today.
Yeah, good looking mid-range jumper by the sophomore, and here's going to be a near turnover as Panico tried to track that one down, ends up falling on the basketball.
I think she had a little help falling on the basketball from the hustle from Ramirez.
There's a reason she got knocked over.
So the lead is 11. Rollins off of Fernandez's screen. That's a good help. And Panico is fouled as Rollison from her knees reaches out. Hammer with a good show of sportsmanship. Now Rollison with 3 fouls. So Fernandez and Rollison both with 3 for Defiance. Mavis, that'd be Sammy Mavis, with 4 for Fairview. But here we go. A basket here cuts the deficit to single digits.
And Fairview hasn't really changed defense. They just playing a lot harder here in the second half. They're getting some good results from that.
And dribbling into a double team, Mavis loses the ball. And here comes the Jackrabbit, Rollins, with the breakaway layup. She's got 13. And just like that, that's what the lead is.
Well, that's been their best offense tonight here has been the defense from Defiance. And here's another Defiance steal.
And again, Patience McDaniel tried a bounce pass into a double team in the post. Fairview turns it over twice now, just at the end of the third. And now to open up the fourth, Fairview has reached just close enough to maybe grab the apple off the tree. And then some great play from Defiance, but also just some mistakes by their own nature. And it's kept them at arm's length as that one's knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, the pace of the game is give Fairview some problems. Right now there's been times on offense they just don't show that patience they need. They need to ball fake, make Defiance expend a little bit more energy defensively.
Hall trying to work on Rollins. It's going to be a team effort. Up top, Rollins wide open for three. In and out. Fernandez with another board. Whoa, Panico gave her a facial. Staying vertical. And here they come again. Hammer hits the deck, and Rollins going to be the guilty party here with foul number 2.
A good-looking crossover that time by Hammer to put some strain on Rollins. And that time Rollins commits the foul. That's the second team foul here for Defiance in the first minute 53 of the fourth quarter. So Fairview continuing to attack, doing a good job of trying to lengthen this game out.
Hammer was 17, but she'll surrender the basketball. Nice baseline cut by Panico, and that's just great movement without the ball.
Yeah, that's good offense right there. Good floor spacing. They got penetration. Great job moving without the ball, as you mentioned, Brent. Ends up in easy deuce.
Timeout on the floor. We'll take a Mark Moats Ford timeout as well, serving the Defiance community since 1916, located on County Road 424 and online at markmoatsford.com. Bulldogs 46, Apaches 35. Back after this on DCTV Sports.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Radar love being blasted over the speakers here at the Dog Pound as the first buzzer sounds. 5:49 left to go in this ball game. Fairview is making it interesting, but for the entire second half, Defiance has been the beneficiary of a double-digit lead. But it is close at 46-35 as we welcome you back. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Bulldogs will inbound in the backcourt. Fairview has ratcheted up their defense, and they've been much more aggressive off the dribble drive offensively. And there's more defense, knocked out of bounds by Samantha Kuhlman. She's playing with 3 fouls, but at this point, Scoop, you got to roll the dice.
Yeah, you have to. You're going to get the mileage out of each and every girl, so there's no tomorrow. You have to leave it out there each and every possession, try to win one possession at a time. Fairview doing all they can. And right now, that big three-point bomb at the buzzer by Keller has allowed this lead to stay double digits.
Oh, Ramirez right in the middle of the paint, and for the first time, I think she thought there was going to be contact. Normally she initiates it, and that ball left short. Another chance to cut the lead to single digits this trip down the court. Who do you want to touch the ball here if you're Fairview?
Well, I'd love to see Hammer get a touch. I'd love to see Mavis get a look inside. Here's Hammer
with the
deep.
3. Halfway down, it spit out. She got the look she wanted, and now we're going to have a foul. And that one is a bit of a cheapie on Kayla Mavis. If you're going to get your money's worth, you've got to. Are they going to call it a jump ball? Whoa, my goodness.
And credit Fairview.
Yes,
they're
they
still
are
attacking the glass. So that time they get the tie up. A quick 3 here from the corner.
I don't think Defiance was ready, but that ball doesn't fall. They got 2 good looks and couldn't get either to go. And here comes Rollins, throws it off of Mavis. Look at Ramirez laying out. Now Rollins hits the deck. Get him some football pads. My goodness, it has been physical.
Yeah, we mentioned it. Fairview just playing harder. We've seen Defiance with this type of intensity throughout the game, but Fairview has really ramped it up here. And the result is they're trying to work their way back in it.
Ball is deflected, and Ramirez, oh my goodness, right into the chair, and hopefully Samantha Kuhlman is okay. And she appears to be so.
Boy, nice to see her get up because she really hit the deck. Just 2 good hustle plays from 2 girls going after a 50-50 ball.
And that is going to be Fairview's possession. Wow. All right, it's 4:55. Normally in an 8-minute quarter, I would say this might be a little early to call it crunch time, but right now you've been down by double digits since the second quarter as Hammer can't get this one to fall, and it goes over the backboard. Can you officially say for Fairview right now, this is crunch time? You got to go.
I think it is, because if they can get a bucket or two to go here, that's going to really make things a little bit tighter around the collar for Defiance, who really has been punched here a couple times in the second half.
Oh, Fernandez, she could have had the basket, right? But she'd rather have the assist as Ramirez was trailing, and that's just a great secondary break. And the lead back up to 13.
Yeah, what a hustle play by Fernandez. Very unselfish.
It's out of bounds. I know Fairview wanted contact, no whistle sounding. And Fernandez will check out. Sabanos will check in. But Defiance has two. Nope. Ramirez will actually check out. So if indeed, I don't think Defiance can put a bigger lineup on the court right now than what they already do.
No, this is a really as tall lineup as they'll go, and they still have their main ball handler, Rollins, there with the basketball.
Oh,
nifty pass.
Wraparound pass, and Fernandez will be the beneficiary heading to the line now.
And that's what Defiance needs to do. I thought they got away from that a little bit when Fairview upped their pressure. You know, they got a little bit more passive offensively. That time a great break opportunity, and Rollins spots Fernandez. Fernandez able to connect on the first of two.
That gives her double digits. She's got 10.
She also has 10 rebounds, so another
double
for the junior.
Second is on the way. That one's a little low. Panico got a little bit of a love tap from Leatherman, but maintains control. Lead is now back up to 14. Drop step into the paint, the kick out. Hall with an 18-footer, nothing doing. Now there's a good play on her part. She knew that ball was off the minute it left her hand, and she followed her shot.
Yeah, that's great to see. You know, the shooter knows better than anybody else where the rebound's going to be had. And there's another hustle play as Fairview gets another offensive rebound.
I believe Leatherman's the guilty party here for Defiance. That's her second.
That'll be Kayla Mavis now heading to the charity stripe, a chance to cut into the deficit with the clock stopped. And another opportunity to set up some full court pressure if she can connect.
She does, a 63% free throw shooter. They have made all but 2 of their free throws so far here in the second half. The problem is they haven't been able to score almost in any other way. Second is up, second is good. And my guess is we're about to see full court press. And instead we've got a timeout. Is this a 30? This is a full. We will take a Mark Moats Ford break along with them. 4:10 left to go in the ball game. Bulldogs by 12 over the visiting Apaches. Back after this on DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Buzzer sounds, 4:10 left to go in this contest. The scene at the Dog Pound. Out-of-conference matchup. Host Defiance in the Western Buckeye League welcoming the Green Meadows Conference, Fairview. And right now the hosts getting the better of the visitors by a dozen, 49-37.
Defiance trying to end a 2-game losing skid off the heels of a 3-game winning streak. And right now, boy, they're playing very well connected at both ends.
Fairview entered this one with a 2-game winning streak, and just before Hammer stripped Rollins from behind, we have a foul. And I believe they flashed number 2. That's going to be Patience McDaniel.
That's a tough break for Fairview because they were just maybe a second or 2 away from getting a steal.
Yep.
Instead, it'll be the second team foul for the Apaches.
Well, that's just great hustle by Kuhlman, face guarding Rollins, and now she's on her, and timeout being called by Defiance. Exactly 4 minutes left to go in this ball game. Apaches aren't going down without a fight. And I believe this is a full, so we'll take another Mark Moats Ford timeout. 4 minutes left to go. Bulldogs by a dozen. You're watching DCTV Sports. Four minutes exactly left to go in this ball game. The question is, what does Fairview have left in them? And more specifically, does Defiance have an answer? 49-37. Host Bulldogs trying to snap a two-game losing streak. Visiting Apaches entered today with a two-game win streak, so something's going to give. Rollison comes off a Sabalo screen. That's good help by Panico to cut off the baseline. Rollison reestablishes her dribble, though. 15-footer no good, and how about the hustle by Keller with the offensive board?
She's had a tremendous game once again here this afternoon, and these second chance opportunities have really hurt Fairview tonight.
Rollins on the drive all the way in and finishes with the layup.
Great move by Rollins, great hang time, made that look awfully easy.
Here comes Hammer trying to do the same thing, and she'll head back to a place that she's been very familiar with, the free throw line.
Yeah, she's such a tough guard. When you see her on the open court, she's got the ball in her hands, putting it on the deck. You have to run a second defender at her. And that time, the help a little bit too late. And their Hammer connects on the first of two. Boy, she's had a fantastic
How about
night.
the team, Scoop? In the second half, the Apaches are 12 of 15 from the free throw line.
Yeah, that's been their best offense here in this second half. Unfortunately, they just really never got there at all the entire first half.
Hammer alone is 8 of 10. Check that, 9 of 10 now. And a turnover.
Defiance stepped over the inline there, inbounding that basketball. So a second opportunity for Fairview, and with a basket, they can get this down to a 10-point lead. A three-pointer cuts it to single digits.
The inbounds as Sammy Mavis is checked in. We got another whistle, and look at this. Fouls mounting up. Also specifically to that last foul on that drive by Hammer was Alexandra Fernandez's fourth. Sammy Mavis is at the stripe. Izzy Ramirez about to check in. Mavis has 8 on the afternoon. Now make it 9. Coach Zedek told me she is the most improved player from last season into this year.
Yeah, the sophomore's done a nice job, and right there at 9 points, that's right about her average. You know, one of those people that's going to defend. She's going to get rebounds for you. She's an all-around player. She also leads the Apaches in field goal percentage at 54%.
Her free throw percentage is 62, but she's 100% this trip, and here we go again. Lead cut to 10. They have not been any closer since the first half. And here comes the full court pressure. Rollins almost stripped. Johnny on the spot. Rollison, she's going to slow it down. How about this? Sabalos with 3, and we've got a foul, and take your pick. Is that going to be Ramirez pushing off? So Izzy with her third.
Yeah, that should walk the ball to the other end, and a chance to, again, cut into the deficit with the clock stopped. As from here on out, Fairview has been in the penalty here for a couple minutes now.
Well, my apologies. My book clearly was off one. I had that as Ramirez's third. The board has it as her fourth. So both starting front court players for Defiance now in serious foul trouble as this one goes begging off the right side, and Mavis can't believe it. Still a chance to cut it to single digits if she can hit her second. On the way, got it. So for the first time since the first quarter, The lead has been trimmed to single digits, and here comes that press again. Rollins gets rid of it. Rollison, boy, Fairview is just selling caution to the wind. Everything and the kitchen sink is being thrown at Defiance right now.
So they're really scrapping. You know, Coach Zedek's got to be pleased with the effort he's seen this second half. Fortunately for Defiance, this is not the NBA, so look at a fresh 10 seconds here in the backcourt to bring it up.
Now here's where, if you're Defiance, you just want Rollins to turn and go, don't you?
Yes.
And she does. Ramirez challenges a double team. We've got a whistle, and is that a foul going up or is that a foul on the board? Izzy says, I'm shooting free throws.
Yeah, great job by Izzy that time to run the floor, get position, and then take it up strong. She knew there was contact coming. And now she'll get 2 here from a charity stripe, trying to make this a 10-point game. First one off the side of the rim, no good.
Here's where she tends to beat herself up sometimes. She's such a perfectionist. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm a fan of number 23. I really like her. She only knows one gear. It is 5th all out.
How can you not? I mean, just watching her play, you can see the effort she puts into it. Has that perfectionist mindset. Here's a hustle play by Fairview, but they hit the sideline.
Hammer laid out. I mean, give her an A for effort. Both teams are just leaving nothing but their best on the court right now. 3:01 left to go, and again on the ball, but it's in the half court now for Defiance. Flirting with 5. Leatherman tracks it down. Hammer comes out on her. About the sophomore putting on a little exhibition. The ball is deflected, and Kuhlman almost had a potential layup the other way, and now we got a foul on Hammer. Just her second.
That's going to be the team's 4th foul. So from here on out, both teams now in the penalty. But look for the Fairview Apaches to continue a lot of on-ball pressure, looking for some traps.
The inbounds to Ramirez. She'll dribble out of it. Back out to Rollins. Now they can reset. Kuhlman really bodying her up. A great look, and Ramirez, the pretty dish from Rollins.
Rollins is so good. She sees the floor so well. That's a nifty assist.
The other end, Panico answers with a 3. Where has she been? She was scoreless in the first half. She was scoreless through the first 3 quarters, and now she's got a quick 7. And we've got a whistle, and I believe she picks it up.
And Fairview, to their credit, they're extending this ball game. You know, this is that first half. I think Fairview had only maybe 3 fouls the entire first half. Now they're doing all they can. They're challenging every possession. I love the fact they've been playing with a sense of urgency here through most of this second half.
Rollins first is on the way. Boy, I think they're going to shoot some more free throws at the next practice for Defiance. They have left a ton off the board. As a matter of fact, they've only hit 2 here in the second half. As Rollins is going to try and make it 3, and she does, out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. They are 3 for 13 in the second half, and Rollison says, let's try again.
How about Coach Lewis inserting the full court pressure, and it pays dividends right away. That's a big turnover by Fairview, and they're forced to foul as Kayla Mavis comes out. They're going to put Jamie Rollins to the line. And Rollins now can extend this lead to double digits here with 2 shots coming up for the junior.
Again, Defiance just 3 of 13 as a team from the charity stripe here in the second half. Rollins first is up. It's short. Scoop, it doesn't even have to be this close. I mean, if Defiance had hit even 50% of their free throws, this would be a no-brainer when the final 2:03.
Yeah, I think the shot doctor is going to be getting a call here this weekend because just too many points really, left off the board. The fact that they're getting to the stripe here, but they're not taking advantage, and they're letting Fairview hang around.
She rattles home her second, so Rollins is 2 for 4 here in this fourth quarter, and the lead back up to 10. Clock's starting to run down, though, on Fairview, and I'm not sure who that pass was to, but out of bounds, and Sammy Mavis and Fairview very fortunate that they maintained possession.
Well, Chloe Panico was open on that backside, but they just did not have a good handle on it. They're fortunate, as you mentioned, to get the ball back. But right now you have zero margin of error here in this final 2 minutes.
Mavis attacking Fernandez, who has 4 fouls, but she leaves it short. Rollins, runs. Actually, it was Rollison that runs up the backside of Rollins, and Defiance fortunate they didn't turn it over. Rollison with a pump fake on the drive, but lost it. In congestion, Ramirez can't hit the bunny. And Panico has it. Do we have a jump ball or a foul? Jump ball, and Defiance will maintain possession.
A good dribble drive that time by Rollison. A nifty find there, but Defiance unable to cash in from ground zero. But with the arrow, they'll get an extra possession.
Ramirez. Boy, that was a calculated risk by Hall going for the steal. And it looks like Defiance is going to spread things out and just force Fairview to foul him. $1:15 left to go. A little bit of, again, a Marcus Haynes dribbling clinic by Rollins. Get it right back to her. Rollison, oh, look at this. She's going to release the basketball. We got a whistle. Before the shot, we've got a foul. And that is a huge break for Defiance because Fairview was about to pull down the board and head the other way.
Yeah, really surprised that Rollison pulled up in that situation there where you've got a comfortable lead here just over a minute to go. But now Rollins heading right back to that stripe, trying to find her stroke here. The first one a little bit short.
Way short. And you can see the frustration as she slams the ball into the court. Having to deal with the chorus from the Fairview fans. She hits 1 of 2. So she's 3 of 6 here in the fourth quarter. And it's been enough to give them an 11-point lead, but she's not happy with herself. And are we going to see a little bit of a, is this a diamond press here?
Yeah, a little 1-2, 1-1 action here by the Bulldogs, trying to slow things up here for Fairview.
Well, Fairview goes over the top of it, and that is good aggressive movement by Kuhlman, but she can't find the shot. And whistle sounds underneath. Boy, the last 2, maybe 3 minutes has really been drug out. Foul against Sammy Mavis, and she is fouled out with 57 and 6/10 seconds left to go. She'll close out this afternoon with 10 points. And Ramirez back to the charity stripe. Releases, and she's got it. She's got 11 on the afternoon. I'd like to know what her personal best is. Second is on the way, but it's short. 57-45. Panico down low. Oh, and Bella Rollison gets back and gives Salyers a facial. And right now, Defiance doesn't need to be in any rush, but that ball is deflected by Mavis from behind, and it's off of Rollison.
Yeah, knocked it off Rollison's leg, so great pressure by Fairview, who's just doing all they can to try to get back in it. Right now, they're going to need a barrage of threes.
Well, right now, Hammer on the drive, and she's fouled by Seiler, so at least the clock stops. And almost guaranteed from the charity stripe, Hammer will head back to the free throw line. She's 7 of 8 so far this afternoon.
Yeah, she really plays hard. You know, you have to respect those kids that just go out there and play hard at both ends, and she's left everything out there.
Khalil Ligon giving me a I see you. And just as I was saying, all but guaranteed, missed. Khalil Ligon had 30 last night. They were at Kenton, is that right? Where were they at?
They were at Kenton, a 68-33 Bulldog win.
Tell you what, I know he says he wants to pitch and he wants to play college baseball, but boy, he's going to be drawing, if he hasn't already, the attention of some local basketball college scouts.
Yeah, he's just an impressive athlete, a guy that works hard, understands the game, and is blessed with plenty of athleticism.
Inbounds. Up top, Panico for 3. She might have gotten a little bit of a love tap. Ramirez with one of her umpteenth boards this afternoon. I believe it's going to be a jump ball, but the arrow points to Defiance's way. And now the question is, does Fairview want to extend the game anymore, or they're just going to let them dribble it out with 22 seconds left?
Well, the one thing for Fairview here today, they're going to come up short here tonight, is the fact that if they learn to play with that sense of energy for 4 quarters, this is going to be a team that's going to win some games here down the stretch.
They already have. Matter of fact, by just virtue of their effort here this afternoon, my question is, how are they not at least 500? As the last 4 seconds are going to tick off, Rollins will just back it out. Make no mistake, if you didn't see this one and only looked at the box scores, you'd probably say comfortable win for Defiance, but they had to earn it today, 57-45. It snaps a 2-game win streak for Fairview. It snaps a 2-game losing skid for the Bulldogs, as they are now 7-11 overall. The Apaches fall to 6-12. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we will have our South 66 Lanes postgame show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Well, we welcome you back to the Dog Pound as the South 66 Lanes postgame show is now underway. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as we've got a matinee here this afternoon. Girls basketball taking center stage and snapping a 2-game losing skid. Defiance has now picked up their 7th win overall. It was an out-of-conference matchup, so their WBL standings do not change. They remain at 4-3. The visiting Fairview Apaches fall to 6-12, but again remain 3-2 in the Green Meadows Conference. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller, as we will be awaiting head coach Leroy Lewis, and I'm not sure who he will bring up. He could bring up the 5 starters, and all of them would be very deserving. But let's go ahead and break down our unofficial scoring totals here this afternoon. Leading all players, and unfortunately going out in a blaze of glory, Aubrey Hammer. She had 10 at the half. She had 9 in the second half, all but 2 coming from the free throw line. She finishes with 19. Sammy Mavis finishes with 10. The starting center, though, was in foul trouble for most of the second half for the Apaches. She fouled out with 57 seconds left to go, still hitting double figures. After that, it drops off considerably. Kayla Mavis finishes with 5. That's it for the starters. 2 points apiece off the bench for Samantha Kuhlman and Levy Hall, all coming from the free throw line. How about balance for head coach Lewis and his Bulldogs? All 5 starters in scoring territory and 3 in double digits. Where did this offense come from? And I guess the question is, how do they continue it? Fuzz Rollins, Jamie Rollins, finishes with 18, and you couldn't be more balanced, Scoop. 9 in the first half, 9 in the second half. She left a few points off the board by struggling, hitting only about 49% of her free throws, but her ball handling and her defense were just spectacular this afternoon.
Well, they really were. She saw the floor so well. I mean, she is so good with the basketball in her hands. I mean, that capable of scoring, as we all know, but she makes so much happen. She really does a great job spotting her teammates. She had a game high of assists as well. Another all-around performance by the junior here this afternoon.
Rounding out the scoring, Eliza Ramirez with 11 points. Now, we do not have her official board work, but we are confident she had a double-double this afternoon. She was closing in on double-digit rebounds at the intermission. And Alexandra Fernandez, our player profile, finishes with 10, and you had her unofficially with 12 boards.
Yeah, she's just a rebound machine out there. We've said that all year long, but she set the tone right away. She got some offensive rebounds in that first quarter, led us some easy buckets for Defiance, but she ended up with 12 rebounds, another double-double there combined with those 10 points.
Rounding out the scoring for the starters, Nadia Leatherman again being pushed into the starting role, the sophomore, after the season-ending injury to Samantha Hohenberger. After this performance, my guess is Coach Lewis might want Sammy to come up and join us for every pregame starting lineups. Maybe that was the difference here this afternoon. But Nadia Leatherman finishes with 6, and Bella Rollison with 5. They've got 4 bench points coming from post Angelica Sabalos and a 3 from Leah Keller, the buzzer beater right at the end of the third quarter, just when Fairview had cut the deficit to 10. They had the wind in their sails. Keller nails that shot from maybe 2-3 steps across half court, and it did seem to change the complexion of the game.
You know, I really thought that was a dagger because Fairview had really scrapped that entire quarter, but only had a little bit to show for it. At that point, they'd outscored Defiance by 2, but with that 3-point bomb there at the buzzer, actually Defiance outscored Fairview 20-19 in that third quarter. So all that hard work, they had nothing to show for it, and that was that big boost that kind of kept some separation going into that fourth quarter.
Again, free throws really playing the story here as Coach Lewis. And who'd he bring? Who's hiding around the corner there? Whoa, Fuzz is coming on. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll let them set up at the scorer's table here with us, and we'll continue to break this one down. 57-45. Back with more of the South 66 Lanes postgame show right after this on DCTV Sports.
Cover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
It's amazing. It's almost like a library right now. The lights just turn off. It's a matinee today, and yet there is no buzz. Everybody getting out and getting on with their Saturday afternoon We are sticking around to break this one down. As they get off the skid, a 2-game losing streak coming into this one, all of a sudden they look like world beaters as Defiance knocks off literally a gritty Fairview squad. They were very tough, especially defensively, but just too much today as 57-45 the final score. Non-conference matchup, but they pick up their 7th win of the season. Still a game above 500 in the WBL, and a little wind in their sails as they get set for next week. Brett Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller, and I love to hear the coach say you're right, because I very rarely hear that no matter where I'm at. Coach Lewis coming up, and joining us, Fuzz Rollins is his player pick right now. All smiles. Coach, let's start with you. First things first, tip your cap to Fairview. You earned this. If you didn't see this game and only looked at the box score, people may think, okay, comfortable win. You had to earn this one today.
Yeah, just always a gritty team. We know what it's going to be when we play Fairview. They pressure the ball, man-to-man team, and the girls work hard. That was one thing I stressed to our girls before they came here. They're going to play with effort no matter what their record is, no matter what the score is. They're going to play until the finish.
Yeah, they really did. But, Coach, I loved your zone defense today. I thought you guys really set the tone. It gave Fairview a lot of problems. You forced a lot of turnovers, and then you converted those into points at the other end.
Yeah, we just try to widen our 2-3 and widen our diamond just a little bit more to cover those shooters. Last couple of weeks we gave up, I feel like, too many threes, just open threes. And I feel like we got girls that's athletic and can cover ground. So we try to widen it up this last couple of days in practice, and I think they did a good job of just executing.
Athletic players. Can we find one? Oh, here's one right here. Jamie Rollins joining us right now. 18 points. You know what? Before we get to your offense, let's talk about your defense, because that doesn't always make the highlight reels at 6 and 11, but you have to have an attitude. You have to want to play defense.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm looking at a stretch to open up the second quarter where you got 2 steals, 2 breakaway layups. You also hit a 3. You had 9 at the half, but that really seemed to kind of set the tone for the rest of the second quarter. Coach challenged you guys to step up your defense today.
Yeah.
A woman of few words. So
sorry.
how did you take that personally? Because if you play zone, I think sometimes there's a misconception that means it's going to be passive. You're going to maybe sag back a little bit, just keep everything out in front of you. The top half of your zone right now, with you and Nadia in particular, almost looks like it's got man-to-man principles. I mean, you are smothering. Walk us through how you play defense like that.
On Diamond, we've been doing Diamond for like the whole year, so I kind of just read the defense, and when it's in the corner, I know it's either come back to the top or they drop, but that's Alex or whoever's down low. But I just really see where it's at and try and cheat the pass and see if I can get it or not. But
do players tip sometimes? You know ahead of time? Are you watching for tendencies or how they pass or body language to know if you can jump a passing lane?
Yeah, I look at their eyes. Most players look at I sometimes do, I sometimes don't, but I know most players, they look at where they're going to pass it.
That's basketball IQ, Coach.
Yeah.
How do you coach that?
I kind of try to let her be free. I try to not to limit her. I mean, I feel like she's best when she's playing free. When she first came here, she told me, Coach, I just like to play. Well, she does like to play. So once we got her to learn the plays and kind of get organized, and she wants to be a point guard. She wants to play college basketball, so I'm just trying to help her become a college basketball. If I let her go, I know she can get to the basket. I know she got a little bit of dance and wiggle to her game. But also I want her to have some discipline to it where we take care of the ball. We do the right things. We're able to close out games like she did today.
And, Jamie, you knew this was going to be a very physical game. You know, Coach has already talked about how hard Fairview typically plays year in, year out. But you guys were the aggressor tonight. I thought you guys came out and threw the first several punches and get off that great start. Talk about you guys' mindset coming into this one.
Normally, I lock in once that national anthem come on. I just think about defense. Like, that's the only thing I think about is once the tip off, I'm locking up defense just to set the tone. I see my teammates normally look off how I'm playing, and if I bring the energy, then they come right after. So, and I'm at the top, so everybody seeing me work, they just it just brings the energy.
Coach's dream. Coach's dream.
All right, now I'm going to start with you here, Jamie, because I've talked with several of your teammates. Sammy Hohenberger, we didn't mean to steal her that long for the pregame. Okay. I waved a headset at her, and I didn't think she'd come up.
Yeah.
And she accepted the challenge, so she helped us do the starting lineups.
Good.
But she talked about last year into this year, and, Coach, she admitted it was tough last year.
Oh, yeah.
Again, you only win 2 games. You only win 1 in the conference. but I don't think that's exactly what she was talking about. She said they had to get used to your coaching style.
Yeah.
And no such thing as a small mistake.
Yeah.
They aren't acceptable.
Yes.
It's one thing to make an aggressive mistake. You've told me if a kid is giving you everything, you'll take an aggressive mistake. You hate passive or lazy mistakes.
Yes.
But she made a point. She goes, and it helps when you win, but they knew what to expect this year.
Yeah.
Everybody's more comfortable.
Yes.
So with all that said, Jamie, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Sammy. What's the difference between last year and this year now that you know what coaches expect of you?
Honestly, I think it's just our chemistry, and that plays a lot in like how we play on the court. It's just because we have the connection, and everybody gets along. Like normally, if people mad at each other on the court, it's not gonna work. It's just out of control. I don't want to pass it to her because da-da-da. But we just all bonding and getting stronger on the court together.
And Leroy, obviously a good win. A win's a win. You're going to take it any time. And, you guys have shown vast improvement this year. This is a good win against a very traditional Fairview team that's going to win basketball games year in, year out. But what's going to be your message coming next week here? What's going to be the point of emphasis to try to keep getting better and better each and every day and every week?
Just continue to work, continue to educate the younger girls on kind of what we're doing and get them up to speed to what we're doing. Obviously, with Samantha going down last week, we got to get some players off the bench up to speed, and I think we did a good job of that over our break. We just want to continue to play with effort and play hard and feed off of Jamie. I think the biggest thing from last year to this year for us is just we have leaders. Jamie's leading. I made Sam and Eliza captains, Alex a captain. I don't even think I made you a captain, did I, Jay? No, I didn't make her a captain because I knew she would naturally do it. So I went to her and told her, I'm not going to make you a captain because you run the group as a point guard. You're in charge of most of this, and they do a good job of feeding off of her. We don't really have very much drama in our locker room. I feel like that's a big deal. I mean, the girls like each other. They hang out with each other. I can't go over the conversations I hear in the locker room of them having fun. But man, I'm just glad they're hanging out and they hang out with each other and they actually have fun outside of basketball.
You know what that means? You may not have drama, Coach, but you've got some characters
on
this team. Look at her. She's got to admit it. Does she not?
Yeah.
And it's not just her either. But let's talk a little bit about the attitude. I mean, there's balance here. You talked about with Sam going down, and we know that Fuzz here is going to get her own.
Yeah.
But you had 3 starters in double figures today, and we are convinced. We don't have the rebounds for Izzy, but the Alley-Cat, we are convinced, had a double-double today. She finished with 11.
Yep.
She was, by my mental count, I think pushing double-digit rebounds at the half.
Okay. Yep.
And then Alexandra has 10 and 12. Is today a perfect example? If you guys play, share alike, there's plenty of touches for everybody.
Yes. I'm not sure how much Isabella Rollinson had, but that's another starter that can fill it up. So when Jamie's scoring, when Alex is scoring, we get Eliza scoring and Bella kind of doing her thing, which I feel like she will in these next coming weeks. She'll find her groove again like she did at the beginning of the season. That's probably the ultimate Defiance team that we could wish for right now.
Jamie, how much better can this team still get?
I think we can get a lot better, especially with the underclassmen and just bringing them up with us. We done team bonding, and we have freshmen come, and we thank them for coming just because most freshmen wouldn't come with juniors or seniors because normally they scare. But I want to bring up the underclassmen so we can get stronger instead of leaving people behind.
That's awesome.
All right, well, enjoy it for at least the next 24 hours. You guys are, looks like, on the road at Swanton on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Keep it going, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna
Congratulations to both of you. Thanks for coming up and joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we were going to put a wrap on the South 66 Lanes postgame show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Back to put a big blue and white gold bow, blue and white bow. Well, we can mix in some gold because it was a gold medal performance here this afternoon for the Defiance girls as they knock off Fairview 57-45. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. Finishing up our South 66 Lanes postgame show with our BSN player of the game. Scoop, seriously, you could flip a coin. You could go ahead and throw a dart at a board, and whichever player's name it hit, you would be well served to mention it. Again, Jamie Rollins finishes with 18. Alexandra Fernandez has a double-double, 10 and 12. But at the same time, standing in at just 5'3", Izzy Ramirez, we don't have the official board numbers for, but we are convinced she had a double-double as well, 11 points and at least 10 boards. We're going to lean towards the alley cat this afternoon, but I guarantee you if she were standing here, she would probably want to spread the praise over everybody. There is no wrong choice today.
No, just a lot of deserving players today, but how about the alley cat? Just a tremendous she almost had 10 rebounds at halftime, so certainly more than a double-double here today. And they need it because this is the Fairview team that just played hard until the final horn went off. And you mentioned earlier, Brent, this is one of those games where Defiance had to earn it. They had to continue to play. They had to go the distance, but they did. I love how they came out, the approach. But, again, I thought the alley cat was awfully impressive from the get-go, and she really sparked this team this afternoon.
So that's going to do it for our broadcast. Again, a big thank you going out to our crew doing another fantastic job this afternoon, as well as our underwriters for helping make the broadcast a possibility. And as always, you, the fan, for tuning in. With the victory, 57-45, Defiance now 7-11 overall. The Apaches fall to 6-12. Up next, it will be 2 road games, as it will be at Miller City for Fairview, and on Tuesday at Swanton for Defiance. Our next broadcast will be next Thursday. We've got those 2 teams across the river, both the girls and the boys. Tenora and Ayersville will be taking center stage next week. It'll be the girls first, then the boys. We invite you to join us for both of them. Until then, have yourselves a great and safe weekend. Again, for Scoop Miller, I'm Brent Balbinot. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.